Welcome to the introduction to Solitaire Interglobal Limited, where expert services plus chaos mathematics equal predictive performance modeling. We're going to cover who, what, and how for Solitaire. Solitaire Interglobal Limited, or SIL, is an expert service provider. We maintain a massive and ever-growing 160-plus petabyte heuristic database of real-world customer data, and this is production data. We've conducted over 20,000 risk and security assessments in the last 3 years. And our clients have reported savings on those projects and implementations of over $1.21 billion in the same time period. Solitaire was established in 1978 and maintains world headquarters in Elgin, Illinois. It has been involved with the establishment of industrial standards and performance certifications for multiple decades now, and conducts active information gathering for the Operational Characterization Master Study, OPMS. Solitaire runs over 200,000 models annually in support of both ongoing subscription customers and ad hoc inquiries. Solitaire has a very distinctive philosophy. We're dedicated to catching client problems before they happen, and we continually improve our processes and approaches. We're focused on being flexible in search for solutions. And we definitely want to work smart. We leverage intellectual capital rather than deploying large numbers of people. And overall, we try to be creative in our view of both systems and ecologies. Solitaire's core competence all revolves around predictive performance modeling. We issue certification for performance capabilities. We do throughput and scalability strategy analyses. We look at risk profiles and mitigation analysis. And we translate complex situations. We have extensive AI technology and proprietary chaos mathematic analytics, and we apply those to both forward-looking scenarios and forensic investigation. SIL has many offerings, and they cluster in 3 different areas. The first of those is cost and risk, where we look at anything from application risk to business cases, cloud computing or other disruptive technology activities, data centers, Fordham analysis, and so on. Sizing we do for different things ranging from general capacity planning to big data analytics, workload and sizing, hardware sizing, and all sorts of other things. And from a strategic point of view, we help clients with their architectural selection, their area readiness evaluations in multiple disruptive areas, and all the way on to root cause analysis and our ongoing subscription services. Solitaire produces very solid results. One case study we had was a medium retail organization where they had a problem with the performance of key application components. It was erratic and it was just totally unacceptable to their business. They'd lost $2.3 million in opportunity, and they had horrendous expenses, more than $3.5 million over budget in a single year. We were called in after a year of attempts to fix the problem. Our audit and analysis took 4 weeks. The initial model itself took 3.5 of those weeks, and it resulted in 5 optimal scenarios. They picked the second-ranked one because it fit their risk profile a little bit better. The result of that was that the application was fixed in 4.2 weeks. It had a cost of less than $12,000. The throughput increased by 214% without any new equipment. And they realized an audited savings of $4.2 million in the first year. In a second case study, we're working with a large financial organization. Their data center costs were way too large, and they were looking at removal of their mainframe architecture. The customer had expected $1.2 million in savings. Their actual expense in 6 months was $1.6 million higher than the original baseline. We were called in after they had operated their new configuration for 6 months because of the cost escalation. Our audit and analysis took 4 weeks, and it resulted in 3 optimal scenarios. They selected the one that we had ranked first, as it fit their risk profile and exceeded their savings target by 53%. The feedback from this via the customer, not via our record keeping, was that they had realized that the best business case option was to expand operations on their mainframe and to implement Linux partitions. This resulted in the removal of 412 smaller platforms, and that deployment was accomplished in 4 months. The cost savings were $2.3 million in the first year, including the expense of the migration. Their service levels improved by 54.2%, and the variation from our prediction for the first year was less than 1%. Our third and final case study was for a large distribution organization, where they were seeing excessive refunds and it was definitely affecting their bottom line. Their customer expense in the previous year was $17.6 million, and their analysis showed that more than 62% of that was either fraudulent or suspect. So we were called in again due to cost escalations, which is a frequent reason for Solitaire to be called in. We took 3.5 weeks to do the model. We found 102 things that were significant. Our fraud analysis shows that there were 11 systematic incursions. There were trends that indicated 8 more, and there were 3 main offenders. As a result of our analysis, the customer instigated an improved fraud detection oversight as part of their normal operations, and it created a new department. They integrated it with our Overwatch to keep an agile view and to catch things as they changed in the market. Their deployment was accomplished in 1.3 months. Their expense recovery was $4.2 million in the first year, including the expenses. Claims were reduced by 34.5% due to the proactive capture and the quarantine of a suspected claim at filing. And the variance from the Solitaire prediction for the first year was 1.048%. Now, Solitaire works with many different areas. We work with hardware vendors, we work with software vendors. We work with 97 of the Fortune Top 100 companies. We work with 10 world governments, including our own. We have over 4,800 subscription customers worldwide. On top of that, we deal with another 59,100 organizations worldwide on a periodic basis. And tacked onto the top of that, we have another 108,300 and some Security Watch participants that report into our worldwide view of security attacks and trends. Sometimes people think that Solitaire is only an IT organization, but many different organizational segments engage with Solitaire. Yes, IT represents about 1/3 of our activity, but we have substantial interaction and contract with finance, marketing, sales, security, executive, and a host of other smaller segmented areas. Many of these segments come to Solitaire because we give them a view of technology and a view of their organization that translates it into business terms. Working with Solitaire tends to be pretty streamlined. We ask for minimal customer involvement and drag time. We do comprehensive modeling with elective Overwatch. We can work with a customer on a query basis, a project basis, or in a long-term or subscription relationship. We provide secure data collection points so that there's no danger of having your data go awry. We have a lot of AI processing to handle much of the data preparation and extraction so that the customer does not have to do excessive preparation of the data. and all of the customer references are removed prior to our analysis and storage in a database. Solitaire follows a 7-step process. The first of those is we collect data. We collect data on customer environment goals, objectives, critical metrics, and all sorts of other things. We then sweep that data. We pull calibration data from our heuristic database, and we get comparisons of data risk exposure and so on. We build a structure. We create the overall strategic model and function those components into a single whole, and we put that together with the swept information. We then evaluate the model. We examine and evaluate those results for general issues and feasibility so that we can get an overview and general direction. We then refine the model by exercising virtual production cycles of the selected scenarios, and we look at the accumulated risk and exposure. We then analyze. We analyze all the results of that and build cost, risk, and other metric comparisons, ranking those options for presentation. And then we report to our customer. We deliver those results that include ranked options and critical success and failure factors and actionable items. Data acquisition is at the core part of what Solitaire does. And the data that we collect falls into 3 general data classes. We have behavior, workload, and characteristic data. And that looks at the core components of IT activities, business process, and organizational evolution. The second class is location, geography, and physical conditions. This can include weather, it can include geographical influences, physical plant conditions, etc., all of which form a backdrop for the rest of the model. And finally, we look at regulations, restrictions, and controls. We factor in industry regulation, political mandates, laws, cultural bias, and all sorts of other components more in the soft environment that create an operational matrix of considerations. The usage for SIL data is fairly varied. We maintain the repository with the proprietary models and processes. We pull information in from customers as to their goals. We build their profiles, regulations, locations, and so on. We also pull information in from the vendor. And then we provide that in answer form for queries, for specific model requests, and for our subscription customers. SIL Synergy is unique in the industry. We have very unique offerings, and we have a broad range of services and products. We only do fixed bid, and so our fixed bid expert services are always known what you're going to get and how much it's going to cost you. We take a holistic viewpoint. We're not just looking at a silo of your organization, but we're looking at the whole organization and how a piece fits into that. We're focused on minimal staff drag. Your people have enough work to do just operating your business without having to spend lots of time in interviews with somebody else. We provide a fast turnaround. It is the fastest turnaround in the business. And we always offer to bond our predictions. Over the years, Solitaire has issued more than 10,000 bonds, and we have never had a claim on a single one of them. We are thorough, accurate, and dependable. I hope this has given you a little bit of an understanding of what Solitaire is. If you have further questions, feel free to drop us a note or give us a call. Thank you for your attention.